Welcome back to the Pomona Promise Network Podcast. My name is Andrew Quinones, and today is Thursday, May 23rd, 2023. And today we have special guests in studio with us, Dr. Enrique Medina. How you doing, senor?
How are you? Doing very well yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you finally were able to make it in. I've been wanting to sit with you for some time. You are a great person to know. So a champion within the community for many years. And we really like to hear a little bit about your story. Who is Dr. Enrique Medina, and what is he all about? So as we share with our audience, I've known Dr. Enrique Medina for, I want to say, like 2 decades, I think, at least 20 years now.
Yes, that's right.
I just turned 47 years old. Can you believe that?
I still thought you were 27.
Yeah, right.
That time flies.
I'm guessing we probably met when I was in my mid-20s, and I've always looked up to you.
Thank you.
I think you're a man of integrity, and you've always had a good spirit to you. I've never seen you angry or in a foul mood in public. So you're a good man, Dr. Enrique Medina.
Thank you.
And again, I appreciate you being here with us today.
It's my honor to be here.
All right. So share a little bit with the little community. Now, you're retired now, but you had many years working within the city of Pomona and within the school district. So why don't we start off with that? Tell us a little bit about what you did.
Yes, I started about 35 years here in the city of Pomona. Started with Pomona Unified School District. Started as a science teacher at Pomona High School, assistant principal. Then I was a principal at Emerson Middle School. Then I got called up to be a principal on assignment as a public information officer and ombudsman. What that meant was, for any issues happening in the community, I would be the one trying to say, is a community right or individual right, and is a district wrong, or vice versa. And I had the authority to go in and recommend what next steps should be based on my findings.
Yeah.
That was a really great job, but it was a very difficult job. Then I got promoted to being the administrative director of People and Community Services Division. Then I became assistant superintendent of business services facilities. And after that, I became assistant superintendent. In the process of that, 6 years into that job, I was about to adopt a baby girl, and we were about to adopt a baby girl. I was about to finish my PhD at Claremont Graduate University, so I decided to take a step back, and I became director of career readiness, which I did that for the last 12, 13 years of my career.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it. In my last position, I was able to work with the Pomona Chamber of Commerce. I've been an executive board member for many years. I was the chairman of the board for two terms, and also I was CFO there temporarily prior to my retirement from there. I also was asked and was appointed as a Los Angeles County Workforce Development Board member or commissioner, and I did 2 terms there too.
Yeah.
I recently retired from that too. And the whole thing to me was, we knew that we did really well in the education and training, but we did that the connection with business and the connection to the economy was very difficult just from the educational silo. So that's why I decided to start working with the Pomona Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
So that I would be able to start working with the business community.
Right.
And then that's why I chose to go into Los Angeles County Workforce Development Board so that I could start working on a greater component of training, placement, and of course providing people high labor, high demand, high pay, high wage, 21st century jobs.
Yes.
But we all have to start somewhere, right?
Yes.
I still remember my days of being a dishwasher at Denny's for the graveyard shift.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that
What
was
city?
Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon?
I was in Clackamas, Oregon. I was going to Portland State University for a semester.
All right.
And I needed to work,
Yeah.
so I needed to do something.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I did. And so all those experiences and being a teacher and seeing, okay, how come when they leave school, they have such a hard time transitioning?
Yes.
Some go to college, great, and hope that they finish. But even if they go to college or not, they need to work, because it's the best thing to do is to know what you're going to be studying about.
Yes.
So that's why there's such a need for internships, apprenticeships, pre-apprenticeships. And right now, that's the whole momentum of the economy is moving there for job placement.
Yes.
They want to start early, as soon as high school. And one part of my career that I was very proud was we were able to bring in what we called our career awareness labs,
Yes.
which was a 21st century career exploration lab. And we were able to put them in all the middle schools and all the K-8 schools so that all 8th graders and 7th graders will have an opportunity to explore 15, 16, 17 different careers
Wow.
that were all STEM related.
Yeah.
So at least they knew what the career was about.
Right.
If they liked it, they pursued it. If they didn't like it, at least they know they didn't like it.
Yes.
You don't want to go to college for all those years
Yeah.
or go be in a job and realize that, oh my God, this is not what I want to do. If you want to go to medical school and you're afraid of blood, or you want to be a nurse and you're afraid of blood,
Right.
or you faint when you see blood, that's not a good sign. But at least you learned something, right? Better to learn it early than later on in life.
It's like going to a buffet and
I see.
being able to choose different things. You don't like it, you don't have to eat it all, but
Yes, but yet the
finding out what you like.
Continue.
That's right, huh?
So that was really exciting. Now, as part of my background, I immigrated to the United States when I was 12 years old with my family.
Oh, okay.
So I came
Like
in
my
eighth
dad.
grade. Eighth grade, I was
Yeah,
here.
all right.
Then I went to the University of California, San Diego, and got my bachelor's degree in biology with emphasis in biochemistry, and my minor in organic chemistry and history of Latin America.
That's a long way
Yes.
from public relations in the school district.
Let me tell you.
All right.
Let me tell you. It's an interesting story behind that.
All right.
Then after that, I was pre-med, and of course, then I went to Cal State University, Los Angeles, where I studied my master's and obtained my teaching credential. Then went to University of Laverne to get my administrative credential, to earn my administrative credential, and I culminated with my PhD at Claremont Graduate University with a philosophy doctorate in education.
You must really like doing homework, huh?
Not really, but I just thought it was something that I had it in me to be a doctor.
Yeah, yeah.
But when my life path changed because I learned about a new career when I was going to become a doctor.
Yeah.
In my last year at UC San Diego, I went to a lecture on public education and what teachers did and administrators did, and I go, that's my calling.
It inspired you.
See, it inspired me. So, and I changed, and it gives me chills.
Wow.
Because I changed my mind in February, March, and I was already working as a teacher in September, and already working on my master's for education.
Yeah.
Had my credential in that September.
Yeah.
So it was really exciting to do that. It's very interesting, and people ask me, what made you change?
What made you change?
And the career path.
Yeah.
And I thought, I would rather work with individuals that are healthy to improve their situation,
Yes.
mostly,
Yes.
than trying to be in a hospital or in a lab working with. I'm more like a extrovert
Yes.
than introvert.
Right, right, right.
And I like to talk to people.
Yes.
I like to socialize. I like to, and I know that being in the sciences,
Right.
you have to be like really calm,
Yeah.
quiet, very reserved.
Yes.
Because every word has a lot of value when it comes to potential lawsuits. And in education, what better than to help people in our community, students in our community, to learn the sciences, which is really hard for some people, most people. And so that really, I've never regretted that decision in my life.
Yeah.
So that's how I became a teacher.
That's
and
great.
Another different positions. Now, going back to being part of the economy, my dream in Pomona ever since probably my third, fourth year that I was working here in Pomona. As a matter of fact, I lived here on 3rd Avenue and Town what used to be apartments. Then they became condominiums.
Yes.
I used to live there when I was teaching at Pomona High. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And I realized that one of my callings, in addition to helping students and educating students, was to help the community break the cycle of poverty.
Yes.
And so, what better way to break the cycle of poverty than train the adults and youth to be able to enter a world of employment that is high demand,
Yes.
high wage, and 21st century, so they could be ready for it.
Yes.
So that's, in essence, why I did all of that I did over those years.
There's a quote that I like to say, that I like to hear, and I like to say that skills pay the bills.
That's right.
Yeah. And we can't just have one skill or two skill. We have to have plenty of skills in this 21st century, right? And
Yes,
we got plenty of bills.
Not only that, we also have all the different changes that are happening.
Yeah.
Right now, there are so many people working in positions that they don't even have a name for the position yet.
Wow.
Especially in the tech industry.
Yeah, right.
And there's a big issue with that. So we're trying to figure out what do we call it, et cetera. And of course, this is the first time in modern history that I'm aware of that you have 1.5 jobs for every one unemployed individual.
Wow.
Before, it used to be the other way around.
Yeah, yeah.
There were two individuals per job.
Yeah.
So now there's an abundance of jobs. The
Interesting, huh?
The secret of that is that the jobs are mostly in the tech, medical, and those sectors, the high demand sectors. And so in order to get those positions, you have to have a lot of training, a lot of education.
Right.
There is also a lot of jobs at the entry level, but there's that's a high turnover, and really the wages and the benefits that those individuals receive, which are mostly placed in temporary contracts, they don't qualify for retirement. They don't qualify for medical benefits, etc.
Right.
And they get paid minimum wage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jobs for that.
Yes.
And there's no career path to it.
Right.
So what you want to do is train them with the skills
Yes.
to be able to enter into a career path so that they're able to progress in their life.
Exactly.
And they were able to reach at least a middle-class income by the time they're not so old adults or by the time they're in their 30s, 40s.
Yeah. I got to tell you, it's really tough, I think, in this era, in the sense where the middle class is slowly been squeezed out in the sense.
Yes.
Both, my wife, both of us, run nonprofit organizations. We don't make a whole lot of money, but we're making enough money where we could live a decent life.
Yes.
However, it just doesn't seem to be even enough this day. We don't have enough to buy our own home. Mm-hmm. When we look at the statistics, it was not even a third. A third was housing within that budget.
Right.
Now housing is like half.
Right.
Again, everything is going up, and it's really discouraging for, I guess, the new middle class, because the new middle class could barely even afford to save any money.
Yes.
They would live it decently compared to most of the world. Mm-hmm. But the American dream, I'm wondering sometimes,
It's very challenging because as a young couple or a young professional or a young employee, a young adult, it's really going to be hard for them to acquire any housing to their name.
Right.
Buy homes, etc. When the average price of a home is about $500,000.
Yeah, $500,000.
And you have to come up with 20% down. That's $100,000. Yeah. Who's going to have $100,000 to put down? I mean, there are people, but not within the environments that we live in.
Yeah.
So that's a very challenging thing. So.
And then you have the trend of corporate housing, where corporations are buying up many of the properties to keep us as renters. So it's a whole nother element on top of that, huh?
Yeah, it's just going to be more challenging, but something's bound to happen that will change the structure. Uh-huh. I don't think the pricing of real estate is going to change. And I'm not a real estate expert. I want to tell people I am not a real estate expert. But I can hypothesize, I can say that there's got to be a structural shift on the funding and the financing of homes in order for people that are middle class to access those homes.
Yeah.
So I think that may be forthcoming in my thinking. Okay, only I haven't done any research on the matter.
Sure.
But that's something that I strongly believe.
Well, I got to ask you: are you familiar with Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum?
Yes, I definitely yes.
So I watched some of the YouTube videos where they're at Davos in Switzerland and how
every year
and how they talk about owning nothing and being happy. A lot of these heads up there are talking about, again, the future is universal income. Everyone is renting. Even renting the refrigerator. Don't buy your own refrigerator now. Everything is a pay to play kind of program. And it's discouraging. I certainly don't want to live in a world, or my children to live in a world, where everything is just on borrowed time or money. I like being an American. I want to have the same dream as I'm sure you and my parents had.
And that's,
my dad was an immigrant too. He owned our own home.
Owning a home is part of the American dream.
Yes, right. And
it's a major reference now. And that's exactly why we need to have as many skills as possible.
Yes.
So that we're able to pivot and change pathways in life and be able to take on the opportunities and be ready for the opportunity.
Yes.
When it presents itself, because there will be plenty of opportunities in life if you are diligently working towards a future of positiveness.
Right. Yeah.
That will get you there somewhere, especially if you enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
So I thought a lot about that, and one of the ways that and you're a senior member of that group.
Yeah.
One of the ways that we decided after the 2008 economic catastrophe that we faced as economic recession, the Great Recession here in California, United States, and actually it was a global financial crisis, we decided to create an opportunity where we identified multiple agencies and we identified our strengths and our programs. And we also said, which programs are we doing that we are experts in, and which programs are what we're doing that we're not experts in. But there's other agencies in the community that they are experts at it. So we decided to create this group, a committee. We call it the College Career and Workforce Development Task Force. And you've been going for now decades, actually a decade. Yeah. We've been together for 16 years now. It's been one of the long-standing programs here in Pomona.
Yes.
And it's composed of the Pomona Unified School District, Pomona Chamber of Commerce, they're critical, the Los Angeles County Workforce Development Board through the Pomona Valley AJCC, and San Antonio RP. That's how it started, that little group of 3-4. Our first meeting, I'd like to make a joke, and you heard it multiple times. I said, we have more donuts than people.
Yeah.
And, so we started like that. But today we have our distribution list is about over 450 individuals.
Wow.
Representing business, local educational agencies, local governmental agencies, colleges, universities, nonprofits, etc. So what we do is we have an opportunity in the first month of on the first Thursday, but every month at 9:30, to bring ideas forward. We have a presentation by great presenters, and then we have agencies updates where agencies are able to share what they're doing, and that's the best networking that we have done. It has been so successful that we were named as a Los Angeles Pilot Performance Program, which what that means is that agencies should replicate the model in order to have that kind of success and those kind of results. It was funny because about 2-3 years ago, I went to the National Workforce Development Board Members Association in Washington, D.C. I was blessed to go there, selected to be part of the Los Angeles County group to go. And in one of the presentations, they brought up the task force.
Really?
As a model.
Wow.
And so it has gotten so much synergy that now it's being discussed in different parts, not just at the local level or the state level or county level, but in some states they're trying also to replicate this model.
Great.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And
it started here in Pomona.
It started here, with the chamber, the district, San Antonio RP, and Pomona Adult School.
Right.
And the Pomona AJCC. It used to be the Los Angeles Urban League back in the day.
Yeah, that's right, huh?
Right?
Yeah,
that was back in the day, yes.
That's right.
That's how long it's been.
Right. And Michael Thomas,
he was he's one of the pillars of the program.
He's another retired folk as well,
He retired recently.
Recently.
About a year ago.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're retired. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I used to do things.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, before when I was working more than full time.
Yeah.
Because you work full time, but the job always demands a lot of your time. And I'm super busy now.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. But I really love continuing to tend to my passion, my calling, and to continue to help people as much as possible. But I'm not a man in the front of the scenes. I'm always in the back. You know that about me now.
That's right.
I'm always behind the scenes, and I'd rather have somebody else have the spotlight but I'll help build the infrastructure.
I like that. That's what I enjoy also, being the second man.
Yes.
Someone else can take the spotlight.
Yes.
But and in this show, I get to take a little bit of the spotlight.
You are the spotlight.
I get to interview great people that are doing good things within our community.
Thank you.
And a little bit of background of this, because we talked about 21st century skills.
Uh-huh.
I happened to get a grant from the, let's see, I'm going to make sure I get it right, the Golden State Environmental Justice Alliance.
Congratulations.
Yeah, the GSEJA.
Wow.
So, and this was to help build 21st century skills with transitional age youth that I work with here in the community. And so at one point during the pandemic, when I was binging on YouTube and seeing the people doing the podcasts and things of that nature, I started thinking, I think I could do something like this.
You're doing it.
Right. And by the blessings of God, a grant opportunity came my way that allowed me to, purchase some cameras and things of that nature. And then I started recruiting some youth, and we started running out into the community and taking pictures and interviews and video and putting it together to make highlight reels of positive things happening within our community. And I just thought, this is a great auxiliary 21st century skill that I can share with young people, where they can have a job, but a side job, like somebody does wedding photos for wedding, where they're doing multimedia stuff, helping organizations that may not be so savvy, but in order to communicate effectively in this new age, we have to be on social media platforms.
Being that the backbone of the economy is the family-owned business, the small business, then they do need this help greatly.
Yes, that's right.
Because they're more focused on the delivery of the product that they're trying to get to,
right,
versus trying to set up all this stuff in the back because they don't have time.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So I've been kind of brainstorming. One of the next things that I'd like to get into within what we're doing, I've been highlighting individuals like yourself and people that are doing good things in the community, but I really want to start a program like Hugh Hausner and California Gold, where I could take a couple of youngsters and we could start visiting businesses that work with the Chamber of Commerce, the mom and pop businesses, and where they don't have to pay anything, but perhaps we got some type of grant or funding where we could start spotlighting these little mom and pop businesses and make little videos for them to really bring attention to the business.
Build their website.
That's right.
Put them on the website and be able to, train them to do Facebook, to do all the different social media outlets. But something like that would be very, very beneficial because sometimes when we're looking at places to go, they show up, but then there's no website to look at. The Pomona Chamber of Commerce has been trained to do a great job. They did a pilot program during the pandemic in which they went around and identified all of the restaurants in the city of Pomona. And so you're able to go to the Pomona Chamber of Commerce website, click there, and it will list all the different restaurants and the specialties, what they do.
Yes.
And so that's something that really benefited. Yeah. But you will take it one step further. If you're able to attach.
Yeah, where they click that restaurant and then they see the owner. Hi, my name is Jose, and I am over here at Preciado Tires.
Yes.
So that would be kind of nice. I think people really like stories.
Oh yes, we love them. I mean, we get absorbed by them.
Yes.
Instead of
And many of the restaurants that I've eaten here in Pomona.
For give me a second. Especially for marketing purposes.
Yeah, that's right. And I think people like us, we like to go to places where there's a little story. Meeting the owner or the chef and hearing their excitement and how they cook with love. Or I always rather help a business where my heart is into it. Yes.
Well, I have a friend of mine that he's a Yelper. He recently retired and he wanted to do something. So what he does is he goes to restaurants and reviews them and puts them on Yelp.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that's similar, but it's through Yelp. He's providing all the recommendations, the story behind the restaurant, etc.
Right.
So that's something that I found really interesting because I went to a place to eat birria. Go figure, right? And I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. Why not? Let's see. And I did it, and I got a thank you from multiple people about it. And I go, okay.
Yeah.
I only did one.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what it looked like.
That's right.
See. So I think that would be an amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a grant in that.
That's right. Because like you said, nothing more than 10 years ago, this job was not even on the radar.
Right.
And now it's
Look at the cell phone. It's our third arm now.
Yeah.
We can't live without them.
Yes.
And I think I heard in National Public Radio that in the year 2013, 50% of all adults in the United States had a cell phone.
Yeah.
2013. Now,
right.
I bet you it's more than 90%.
Well, I mean, if I go down Holt Avenue, I still see one of those little pop-up tents where they give out government cell phones for free.
Yes.
So if you don't have one, there's not even an excuse to not have one
Probably
nowadays.
because you lost it.
Right, exactly, yeah. So within your work, the many years working with job development in the task force, what are some of the things that you've seen in trends that have really changed? In the sense where I'm thinking about, for many years, education pushed out college placement. But it seems that now we're missing a lot of plumbers and electricians.
Yes.
So can you, through zooming out and looking at your career for the past 10, 15 years, what trends have you seen that have changed?
Over 33 years.
Yeah, over 33 years.
35 now because I've been retired 2 years.
Because again, when you were growing up, college was the answer.
Yes.
Yes.
But we did take auto shop, wood shop,
Yeah.
etc.
Right.
Here in Pomona, over the last decade and a half, what I have seen in the educational system primarily has been that we had a robust program that provided academic and technical, what we used to call vocational programs.
Yes.
And other programs, of course, vocational, visual and performing arts, etc. But then we had a shift in the late 90s, early 2000s under No Child Left Behind and under the California High School Exit Exam that really, and the Academic Performance Index, that really shifted education in becoming academic and support to academics minus technical or vocational.
Yeah.
So a lot of your wood shops, machine shops, business classes, a lot of your all of the different classes in that sector were eliminated or greatly reduced because a lot of our students had to take English and English support, math and math support.
Yeah.
So two of their elective opportunities became a part of academic support.
Interesting.
Not technical and vocational like we're seeing today. Now, let's fast forward from late 90s to 2000s into the 2013, 2014, 2015, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic era. They're beginning to realize, wait a minute, how come when somebody comes to my doorbell to fix my electrical, the first thing, they before they ring the doorbell, it's already $150. And that's without even looking at the issue.
Yeah.
And every time they fix something small, they live with at least $350, and that's like a base number.
Yeah.
That's a basic number. So people are starting to say, what if I start learning that opportunity? And other people said, why don't we start teaching that opportunity to others? Because we realized that not everybody was college bound.
Yes.
At one point, we used to receive information from the state level saying that 100% of our students will be going to the university and college.
Wow.
And that's impossible because some people don't really want to go to college.
Yeah.
And you can't blame them. What if I want to go to the military?
Yeah.
Okay, so we go to the military, but I can go to college afterwards. What if I want to work and go to a community college part-time later on as I learn what I'd like to do? So life has many, many opportunity pathways. And what we did is we shrank them over that time just to focus on the academic side, because we had to worry about the academic performance index, No Child Left Behind, standards, and passing the test, etc. Teaching to the test also.
Teaching to the test.
So now you're beginning to see a lot of money go into career technical education because we realized that our students also need to have an opportunity to learn the skills which will pay the bills no matter what you're going to be doing.
Yes.
Whether you go to college or not, whether you need to get 3-4 buddies to rent an apartment with you, or you want to be an entrepreneur with your small little business, at a little shop or at the swap meet, etc., but makes a good living for them.
Yeah.
If you want to be a plumber, carpenter, a welder, you name it, that's just the construction skills. But there's so many other careers that they could be certified our students and obtain experience through paid internships.
Yes.
Remember, before internships weren't paid.
Right.
It was volunteer work.
Yeah.
And people said, no, now you guys start paying them.
Yes.
So one thing that I have noticed here in Pomona is that now businesses are beginning to accept students more openly from high school
Yes.
than they used to do in the past because they were afraid that they were too young to take on the responsibility.
Yes, yes.
So and that was, I don't know if you remember, but that was a big challenge for high school students to go into the business sector.
Yeah.
Or obtain a job. One of the things that we did in partnership with the Pomona Chamber of Commerce, we surveyed all members of the executive board as to what are the basic employability skills
Yes.
that students must have in order for you to hire them as a high school student.
All right, I'm going to write these down. Give me the list.
Basic.
Do you remember them?
Number one, being on time.
On time. Eso.
Number two, dressing for the job.
Dress for success.
And it doesn't mean tie and suit or it means just dress properly. Don't be coming back with the pants down to have, it dress properly.
All right.
Number three, always greet the customer politely.
Eso. There's a saying I say, manners never go out of style.
That's right.
1,000 years ago or 1,000 years from now, manners will still be as important today as they were at any time throughout history.
My mom still says, las buenas tradiciones nunca pasan de moda. Good traditions never go wrong.
Yeah. All right, I love that.
So we did 5 of them, right?
All right, we're on number 4.
Number 4. I don't remember the other ones, how unfortunate or not. But I do have a hard copy of the certificate. And just recently, I received a call, I forget from whom right now, that they're interested in exploring on how are able to provide that professional development for high school students so that they could be certified. So when they go to a job interview, we'll already help them with the resume, and they will be with the certificate approved by the Pomona Unified School District, Pomona Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, like a seal of approval.
Yes,
They've got that training.
Yes. And so that's how to answer the phone is another one. How to answer the phone.
So not like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
How to answer the phone.
So those are things, or email,
communication.
Yes. And it was our hope or intent was during that pilot year to do 100 certificates. We ended up with 1,020 in that year.
Wow.
And it was only half a semester, and we did it through the CTROP department at Pomona Unified School District. And I remember the first time, because we wanted it printed, right?
Yes.
They gave me the stack, and I go, what is this? He says, this is only part of the certificates we're going to have to do. I wanted to sign them in person. All of them. Right?
1,000 of them, huh?
So we did a lot of them.
Yeah.
It was funny because I used to grab this thing and take it to Monique. Back in the day, it was Manzanares. Today is Monique Robles.
Oh, that's
who's
right.
the CEO and president of the Pomona Chamber. And I go, it's your turn to sign.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, my God.
That's when you need the rubber stamp.
But the stamp takes away from the...
That's right.
But the electric signature is different.
Already. Yeah.
And I have a story about electric signatures. Okay. During the pandemic, remember we couldn't be in person. Yeah. We couldn't. You had that pen. We had to put it to disinfect it, etc. We couldn't share pens and other things. Right. So, in the ed code for a work experience and work permit, you have to have a work permit application signed by all the individuals, so that they're able to place the student into the job so they could receive 5 elective credits.
Yes.
If they take the work experience class. So check this out. They're getting elective credits. They got a job.
Right.
They're getting paid, and they're getting experience. And we took it one step further. We actually articulated with Rio Hondo College, so they get college credits.
Wow.
If they complete the project that they're asked for in their career, in their work experience class.
Yeah.
So we said, well, this is impossible. We used to provide about 70 to 80 work experience permits a year.
Yeah.
And it was mostly because of the fair, to be honest with you. And we decided that, well, we need to work with the state and make sure that they allow us to do electronic signatures during the pandemic. So Ms. Monique Cardenas at the CTRP, you know her well.
Yeah.
She's part of the task force. She's a pillar of the task force also. Decided to move that forward. And we received a letter saying that, yes, let's try that. So we went from 70 to 80 students during the second year of before the pandemic. The second year, third year of the pandemic, we were doing 780, so we're 700.
Yeah.
Work permits.
Yeah.
But everything, the key was, it was all
streamlining, huh?
You're the employer.
Yeah.
I'm the student. You sign it. You fill it out. You sign it. You send it to the office. The office sends it to the student. The parents, they sign it.
Yeah.
They send it back to the office, complete it. We register it, and then we send it back to the employee and the student with the work permit.
Yeah.
Everything was online.
That's good. Much easier, huh?
Much easier. And not only that, it skyrocketed. Remember, because a lot of our kids, a lot of our students, high school students, became the primary income earners of the home.
Right.
Because a lot of our parents in our community work in the leisure industry.
Yeah. That's
in
right.
hotels and
restaurants, closing everything down, and
so,
that's right, huh?
So they became
interesting.
And so that, I think that had to do a lot with the skyrocketing.
Yeah.
But it has sustained over time.
Yes. So and it's really good that having innovative people that are willing to explore different avenues.
And put the effort, because it's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Bureaucracy is a lot of work, huh?
Yes, red tapes.
Red tape. One thing I've learned about growing up that is most, I think, sometimes, I guess, frustrating is the word risk management.
Uh-huh.
You know, when you're little, everything's a risk. But when you get older, you have to manage all the risks, the what ifs, right?
How would we ever learn to ride a bike or swim, God forbid?
Yeah. Exactly, That's right. Híjole. And we're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, we'll learn more about what Dr. Enrique Medina is doing nowadays with his life.
Oh, okay, excellent.
All right. Okay. So, Pomona, we'll see you in just a minute. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Pomona Promise Network Podcast. Today's episode was brought to you with the support of the Southern California Service Corps at the Positive Pomona Production Studio in downtown Pomona. Okay, Pomona, welcome back. My name is Andrew Quinones, and I'm your host of the Pomona Promise Network Podcast. And today we have special guest in studio, Dr. Enrique Medina. Now, Dr. Medina is now retired, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what does retirement hold for someone like a busy person like you.
One of the first and foremost, retirement has met and exceeded all my expectations.
Huh?
So I'm really excited to be retired. I retired 2 years ago, actually a little bit less than 2 years ago, on June 30th, 2022. Not that I remember, was for one of the July 1st, 2022 was a really happy day of my life. But it was really interesting.
And that was during the pandemic.
That was right post-pandemic.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
We still had some leftovers from the pandemic.
Yes.
And it was very challenging for me because of all the energy that I had created in my career. I was being pulled into different projects and programs. For example, I was a board member or board president for about 6-7 different. I was doing different national, state, county conferences, presenting at those.
Yes.
And so all of that continued. So I said, you know what? I'm not retired. I'm repurposed.
Because
and the reason why was because I had the privilege, honor, and God's gift to me that I would select whatever I wanted to do with what I've learned throughout my career. And that I focused on being able to work on projects that I really loved, enjoyed, and I knew had the highest impact because of the greatest need that our community and our schools needed. So I continued. I was repurposed. Instead of retired, I was probably 30 to 40% retired, 60 to 70% repurposed. And then I had a very serious medical incident a year and a half after I retired, a year and 3 months. And I think it was just all from all the stress that I had carried for all those years.
Ooh.
And thank God I survived it. And only God will pull me out of that one. And here I am today. I'm being able to selectively continue to further distill my attention to my calling and my passions in life. But right now, my number one priority is my health, my family, my spiritual life, and just taking care, moving in a positive environment as much as possible. That's what retirement. That's what I've done.
Yes.
In my retirement under that short 21 months that I've been retired.
So all your years of work, do you have any tips or tricks that you could give someone like me or someone younger than me that are going through this journey of life that could, again, the wisdom that you have now, what would you tell your younger self?
After reflecting, because the one thing about retirement is you're able to reflect on your career more so than when you're in the career.
Yeah.
And one thing that I did realize about my professional growth and my personality and my style was that I was so involved doing the work that I forgot to stop and take a look at all of the work that I was doing. So I was just focusing on going straight forward on different projects.
Yeah.
But I really never looked at taking a deep breath and saying, slow down, look at what you're doing, look at what you're, take the time to smell the coffee.
Yeah.
I never did that because we were always busy.
Interesting.
I mean, at the high school as an assistant principal, I was there at 6:30 in the morning and sometimes left at 12 o'clock at night. Oof. And in some positions, I had to be at a school, at a community event at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning that lasted for 1 or 2 days. So I had to be ready for all that.
Yeah.
But that's what I did. But I learned the most about myself, my work ethic, and how much I got involved in my projects that I really didn't take the time to fully enjoy them.
Yes.
Because I was so busy doing them.
Yes.
And that's the biggest contribution I could do to give to the next generation.
Okay.
Or to this generation,
Yes.
that is the working generation, the middle-aged generation.
Yeah.
Those that are 10, 20 years away from retirement at 60, 65.
Yes.
67 pretty soon already.
That's me right there, huh?
So that's pretty much, that's the number one
Great
learning from my reflections.
Yeah. Now, as you know, I'm an artist. I'm a muralist.
Yes, you are.
So one of the skills that I picked up being involved in the arts is a lot of times we're painting up close, but then we always need to take a step back to see the overall vision moving forward, and then so it's a lot of stepping back and moving in, stepping back and moving in. So I've made that a part of my life skills.
That's
right.
You can get better than that.
Yeah, because sometimes it's important. We get caught up very much in the thick of life,
and there's so many things to do.
Oh yes.
So not only just at the professional level, also at the personal level. So you're being pulled in so many different directions.
Yeah.
So many different times, so many different projects.
Right.
And so you really don't take the time to reflect and enjoy the moment and be there at the present.
Yes.
Because you're always worried about the future.
Right.
And the future is not the present.
Right.
The present is the present.
Yes. That's why they call it a gift.
Yes. So
Right.
that's what I learned from reflecting.
Good.
I mean, so far, I'm sure that in another year, 2 years, 3 years, I'll have more
Sure.
reflections on what I've done, or what I should have not done.
Yeah.
But right now, I know that I should have had more time to enjoy the fruits of the different projects. Because to me, it was just like, okay, got the infrastructure, we took care of it, done, next.
Yeah.
And it was just like going.
Right. Right.
And I think also made it harder for me because you probably know, if I got a phone call or an email or a text, I would have it returned by the same day.
Yes, you're very good at that.
Yes, it was.
That's right.
If it's not, and my time was by 6 p.m.
Right.
So imagine all the emails that I got, all the
Right.
calls, and all that. So that actually put an additional burden on my self-expectation.
Yeah.
So that's something that.
So another skill for that list is follow up and follow through. Follow up and follow through.
There you go.
I gotta tell you, man, I'm not as good as you as in following up and following through, in particular with emails.
Oh, thank you.
You know, gee whiz. I let my emails go for 2 or 3 days, and I have to tell people, hey, look, you're better off texting me. It's a new way of communicating.
Yes.
You want something from me right away? Text me.
That's right.
Because I don't go to my computer every day to check my emails.
Not only that, you could be in a meeting. You could be do all sorts of different things that you won't be able to pick up the phone.
Right.
Or you're not gonna check your email.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to check I had my email on all the time at work. And when I was in the office, one time I had 2 monitors, so it's incredible with emails.
Yeah.
I was averaging anywhere between 180 to 200 emails a day.
My goodness.
In some of my positions.
Yeah.
And then today, I will check. As a matter of fact, yesterday I didn't open my computer. But then you have a computer on your phone too, so it's kind of hard to tell. By my actual laptop. But this morning I was there first thing in the morning taking care of everything to be sure that we were online.
Yes.
And meeting the demands.
So as you're in retirement, what are some of the things you look forward to these days? What are your highlights?
Spending more time with my daughter. My daughter is a high school student.
Now, you were talking a little bit earlier during the conversation. Did I hear something about adopting a child?
Yes, actually, we have 2 children. Anthony, who's 26, and he's a senior at UCR. And Maya is actually, today was her last day as a sophomore in high school.
Is that right?
So she's going to be a junior in high school.
So did you adopt 2 children?
Yes, there were 2 foster adoptions.
God bless you. No, I don't know if you know this, but I was orphaned at a young age.
Oh, wow.
Both my parents passed when I was just an infant.
No, I did
and
not
so
know that.
I had an aunt and uncle that took me in. So I always feel a special place in my heart for those who take on that responsibility of raising a child that is not necessarily their blood. But thank you for that.
No, yes, both of them. And they're angels. They're angels, I call my son for fun sometimes my adult child.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's
so.
that dad being dad, right? But being with my daughter, spending more time at home. My wife works from home.
Okay.
And so I have an excuse not to be at home so much because that way I could leave her alone to do her work.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'll be assuming that she's not at work, and so it's kind of not a good idea. And
both my parents are retired now, and I hear that my dad drives my mom crazy.
Yeah, usually that's what. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that's what people say.
Yeah,
I don't think I drove my wife crazy, but I knew that there was, there's a time when you say, I understand.
Right.
So for example, I have my daily walk. I go walking anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour every day during her work time. Right. I'm back to going to the golf course to practice. I can fully swing the golf club.
Oh, really?
I was finally cleared to go swimming, so I love to swim.
Right.
I love to read. I love to learn about all sorts of different things. I'm an avid follower of the business channel. ¿Cómo se llama? What is it?
C-SPAN? No. Business. Bloomberg?
Bloomberg business. So I keep really busy with doing all sorts of things.
All right. Now, I want to know a little bit about the handoff to your protege.
Okay.
All right. So can you tell us,
Mr.
Rodriguez?
Great guy. He's amazing.
So you left a position, that you were a great help to our community, made some great connections, did a wonderful job. I'm sure it was difficult for the next person to step into your shoes, but tell me, what do you think about Mr. Luis and the work that he's doing?
He's very visionary.
Yes.
He has a lot of projects in mind, and he has brought in a lot of energy, which is what you're supposed to do. I mean, when you're retired, the reason many of us retire is one age. Another reason is you give the baton to another generation so they can move forward in things you were not able to move forward.
Right.
Because they see the world differently than what we saw it. Yeah. So that transition, the baton, and his world and his energy, his vision, and the projects he has in mind are great. Now, that is a lot of projects he's doing.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. And it's a very challenging position, speaking from experience.
Yes.
But I think he's about to complete his second year. And yes, I think he's doing very well.
Yeah. Now, Luis and
he's enjoying it too.
That's it looks like he is.
Yes.
I still see him in the community, and I think he's in the right position. Yes. Right. Mm-hmm. And I met him late 90s, early 2000. I was doing gang intervention work, and he was working as a teacher aide at Park North.
I remember that, yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's Mr. Chavez.
That's
Chavez.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And Dr. Chavez is now the superintendent of Farmersville Unified School District.
Right?
Yes.
All right. It's small world. I like seeing the transition of people that I guess worked alongside. Mm-hmm. Because him and I almost kind of grew up together too. He was doing his work with youth in the district, and I was doing my work with a nonprofit, and now we're both like your age now.
What are you
doing this?
I'm turning 62 in 2 weeks. So
wow, all right. Yeah, 62 years young.
Yeah, it's 62 years young.
Yeah, so.
Don't tell that to my buddy, but yes.
All right. That's good. So anything else you would like to share with our community about the good news? Any kind of tips or tricks that you might want to share with, because we have different type of people that watch this program. There's parents, there's service providers, and again, I brought you on here because you got a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. So as we bring this podcast to an end, what's something you'd like to share with some people?
I think right now that the thought that is most important to me, going back to my need to have Pomona be a better Pomona.
Yeah.
And I know that the district, the city, all the different hospitals, all the different businesses, all the different nonprofit organizations, all the churches are working really hard. That's the one beauty about the city of Pomona that many cities cannot say. We have a lot of resources.
Yes.
And we work well together.
Yes.
And we leverage each other's strengths.
That's right.
To be able to help our clientele or students.
Yes.
So for me, right now, it would be for any adult that is interested in looking for a job, transitioning a job, we have our own place here in Pomona that we are privileged to have in the whole Los Angeles County, in which is called the Pomona Valley Americans Job Center of California. Mm-hmm. It's located on Holt Avenue, right next or west of the indoor swap meet. And they are a great help for adults and for youth to be able to obtain jobs if you're eligible for certain programs, and they'll tell you other jobs if you are eligible for other programs. So we are a shining star in the community, in the city. This city is a shining star in the county because of the great work that the city is doing, the nonprofits are doing, the district is doing, all the private business, all the churches in which we all combine our strength to propel Pomona forward, and we're able to have a reasonably near location in LA, super near location in LA County that opens a door to opportunities that are not just a job. Those opportunities are careers. Mm-hmm. And that's something that there's a huge difference between I want a job versus I want a career. They'll place individuals in career pathways through a job placement. Mm-hmm. It's not just a job anymore. So that would be one of my closest. I have a lot of things to say, but that would be one of my closing statements when it comes to the overall conversation that we had during this podcast today. Mm-hmm. And I am very grateful to be here. It's my honor to be here, and I would welcome the opportunity to present on other matters in the future, should the opportunity present itself.
So one of the things we talked about, we're going to have Dr. Medina back, and we're going to have a good conversation, and probably bring another guest. So we have three of us talking about the new economy and the 21st century employees, right? Yes. Right. And so I think you may be interested in this because we were going to talk about the Gen Xers and the millennials and this new generation and how I guess employment has changed over the years, and even the qualities of an employee.
And what their characteristics are by type of generation, and how the older generation thinks of them.
Yes. So stay tuned.
Yes.
Pomona, thank you for tuning in to the Positive Pomona Network Podcast. Peace, Pomona.
Bye.